most people. Because profit maximizing companies don't want to get there because they have better alternative to make money rather than giving health insurance to the people who cannot afford it. So we said this is a case for a social business. Many people don't receive healthcare programs in many, many countries around the world. We can create social businesses. There are many diseases in the world, very tough diseases like cholera, typhoid, where the vaccines are available in designs. The whole invention has been made, but it's not produced because it doesn't make money. So with a social business, we can create the cholera vaccines, we can create the typhoid vaccine. There are 6 such what they call orphan diseases, where the vaccines are available in designs, but nobody produces it because it doesn't serve the poor people. I mean, it doesn't serve the interest of the businesses.
And those diseases are?
I cannot give you the whole list. I can mention 2. One is typhoid, another is cholera. Yeah.
In this country, are there social businesses that you've been involved with?
Not yet, just beginning. One, we created Grameen America as a social business because we want to bring the financial services to people who go to the check cashing companies. Millions of people in this country cannot open a bank account because banks will not consider them worthwhile to open a bank account for them. They are too small for them. So they cannot open a bank account. When they receive a check from their employer, from the government, they have to go to the check cashing companies and pay for very dearly to get their check cashed. Their $1,000 check should have generated $1,000. That doesn't do it now, because they cannot have a bank account. So we want to open that. And there are many, many payday loans. You see the advertisements and the commercials in the newspapers and televisions, payday loans. You don't have to be. And you pay high interest rate on payday loans. This is another way of ripping you off. So because financial institutions, formal financial institutions don't come into it, there are lots of pawn shops around. So we said, well, we can address that by designing a financial system in a social businesses and address that. So we created this Grameen America and started in Queens and Jackson Heights in New York. Once we develop the prototype, we can take it everywhere. That's what we're looking for. And there are many more. The social business fund, we are creating a social business fund. Those who would like to invest in social businesses in the United States, as elsewhere, in terms of health insurance, in terms of microcredit, in terms of financial services, in terms of housing. This is the fund will be available, whoever can come up with a brilliant idea, because it's a question of designing an innovative idea in the social business to address all the problems we see around us.
Mohammed Yunus, I wanted to switch gears a bit. In your acceptance speech for the Nobel in Oslo in 2006, you said poverty is a threat to peace. You also criticized the Bush administration's so-called war on terror.
Till now, over $530 billion has been spent on the war in Iraq by the USA alone. I believe terrorism cannot be won by the military action. Terrorism must be condemned in the strongest possible language. We must stand solidly against it and find all the means to end it. We must address the root cause of terrorism to end terrorism for all time to come. I believe that putting resources into improving the lives of the poor is a better strategy than spending it on guns.
Mohammed Yunus in Oslo receiving the 2006 Nobel Peace Prize, the effect of the war in Iraq.
Yeah, it's my first comment would be, we started this millennium 2000. It's a tremendous amount of euphoria, tremendous amount of excitement. Cold War is out and things are taking into shape. Now we can put our resources, our attention, our policies to solve the problems of poverty, diseases, and all those things. And we adopted in the Millennium Summit in New York City, the Millennium Development Goals, beautiful goals. For the first time in human history, all the nations of the world got together and decided that we want to reduce poverty by half by 2015, in 15 years' time. It's a tremendous amount of exciting decision. And that was a starting point. And a few years later, a couple of years later, we start with war. War on terror, and all our resources, all our attention, all our discussions are concentrating on terrorism. Forget about what it's all about. So we derailed ourselves completely about creating a new millennium, creating a new society, changing the world, and with the technology coming in, with all kinds of brilliant things on the table, we could have done that. But we completely removed ourselves. Billions of dollars went into a war, which we have not achieved anything. Terrorism didn't disappear. I said, terrorism, you have to address the basic issues of terrorism. If there's a frustrations among people for something, either it's an economic frustrations or it's a political frustrations or some sense of deprivations that we are not being listened to, terrorism, it will be good breeding ground for terrorism. So why don't we address those issues, political issues, economic issues, rather than bring the gun? Gun cannot stop terrorism. It only put the terrorism underground for a while. It will come back in a more frightening way. So instead of trying to conquer it by guns, why don't we go, it's a human problem, solve it in a human way, address those issues and solve them one by one, piece by piece. It could be done. With all the goodwill in the world, we could do that. So this is what I would say the most damaging thing that we have done so far.
What is your assessment of President Bush's effect on the world?
Well, he has created a very negative image of the United States. People have not much respect in the rest of the world about the leadership because you, like it or not, the United States is the leader of the whole world because of your technology, because of your financial power, your leadership and innovations and so on. And people look forward to you to lead them, lead the whole world. Now, people don't look forward to look at you because you led them into wrong things. So people are kind of looking at the United States in a very suspicious way. That is it good for us, or they are leading us to more difficult things? So that's how I think Bush administration will be remembered. That it has created a lot of question marks in people's mind around the world about the leadership of the United States.
Well, we're going to have to end on that question mark. I thank you very much for being with us. Mohammed Yunus, Nobel Peace Prize laureate. He has written a new book. His first was Banker to the Poor, Microlending in the Battle Against World Poverty. His new book is Creating a World Without Poverty, Social Business and the Future of Capitalism. Mohammed Yunus, thanks so much.
Thank you.
This is Democracy Now! It's produced by Mike Burke, Sharif Abdel-Kudus, Aramate, Anjali Kamat, Jeffrey Hagerman, Steve Martinez, Nicole Salazar, Robbie Karen, Mike DeFilippo, Miguel Noguera, and Peter Curries, our engineers. Special thanks also to Becca Staley and Hugh Grant and Samantha Chambly. We have a job opening. It is a TV producer, full-time, here in Manhattan. Go to our website, democracynow.org, and send in your resume. I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks so much for joining us.